if I hold the camera here, oh, can you guys see that rainbow? Oh my goodness, can you see it? Just up there, check it out. Oh, look, if I hold the camera back even more, check it out. Full rainbows on the live stream. Oh my goodness, that is so pretty and so strong, right? Check it out. Oh, I love that so much. Oh yeah. Archangel Raziel is in the house. Look at it. Can you guys see it? Oh my goodness. That is so... Oh, there it is. Stronger. How strong is that? That is so cool, right? Oh my goodness. Let me know if you guys can see that rainbow, or is that just my reflection? Oh my goodness, that is so cool. That is so cool. I have something to share with you guys called One Big Motherboard. Really interesting realization when I put a couple of pieces of some puzzles together. So I really want to share this with you. And I want to let you guys know that I've opened the second tier for the Life Purpose Accelerator. So if you missed out, didn't get in, couldn't get into the Life Purpose Accelerator, I've opened up the second tier level. So send me a message if this calls to you. This second tier is by application only. So send me a message if you've got any questions about it. The link is in the top of this live stream heading as well, and it's the same 12 months deep one-on-one, but this is the second tier level that I've released. So let me talk about this One Big Motherboard. This is a really, really interesting, huge realization that I've had. I'm going to stay in the shade. Okay, so all right, hi guys, say hi when you're here. Let me know where you're at. This is really important. Okay, so I've been watching, I watch Netflix bits when I'm in, as a mini break, and I just watch little bits. So you guys have seen Avatar, right? The movie Avatar. Give me a yes, thumbs up, give me some love hearts if you've seen Avatar. Now, some of you might have also seen Ancient Aliens on Netflix. Maybe that's old news to you, a bit like Avatar's a bit old news now, right? This piece, right, One Big Motherboard. Now, some of these things I'm about to share, you probably might already know, right? But I really want to put these couple pieces of puzzle together that I was actually sharing with a client last night, and I'm like, I think that I need to share this publicly. So this week, the other day, because I'm really out of time at the moment, so my nose is itchy. So Avatar in your meditation. It's big, right? Okay. So you know how they say, like, the ancient Egyptian pyramids, are all placed in strategically, mathematically aligned, precisionary placement, not just the pyramids, but the entire layout of the city, right? And the same with the Incas, and pretty much a lot of pyramids and temples around the planet are precisely located to line up with certain stars and eclipses and solstices and all that stuff, right? Like, we all know that. It will tell us all that in history, and we're like, wow, yes, like, it's amazing, right? And please know I'm not discounting that. So... And you guys have probably seen at times, there's an image that gets shared, and it's like the computer motherboard chip thing, and it's laid across the top of pyramids. You know how they, merge those images together, and we're like, whoa, it's like exactly like a motherboard, right? Have you guys seen The Giver at all? I think it's a movie on Netflix, or maybe it's just a movie. It's called The Giver. I actually think it might be just on Netflix. I can't remember. Anyway, a client had said to me the other day, she's like, have you seen The Giver? I feel like I need to ask you that. And I was like, you guys know me and names. I'm like, hang on a sec, let me Google this. And so I watched the little preview. I'm like, oh yes, I've seen this. I saw it, ages ago, whenever. I've seen it. And I was just like, whoa, as if that's what's not happening, right? In The Giver, for those of you who haven't seen it, I just need to give this little bit of backstory for this One Big Motherboard realization that's really huge in how we take our power back with what's going on the planet right now, yeah? So, in The Giver, long story short of it, is basically, it's a society that every morning they need to get an injection, and it basically keeps them numb, okay, every morning. It's a routine, it's a very clockwork, rigid, civilization, if you'd even call it that. One of the children starts waking up, and teenagers, and actually uses an apple to inject every morning rather than his skin. And what happens is he starts becoming conscious, he starts feeling, and it's all black and white. And when he stops taking his injection, all the color of the world perhaps starts coming back. He starts seeing in color, starts feeling emotions like we do today. And that's like the basis of the movie, right? And then when I watched Ancient Aliens, and then they've put that motherboard computer chip on the pyramids and stuff, right? Like I said, you guys have probably seen that image floating around the net. And what dawned on me, because like so many people have always been like, oh, well, there's so many different theories out there about what the pyramids and all those ancient civilizations did and why they did all certain things. I want to go into it. But, we're like, oh, they're big tombs. Now, when people have shared that they're big, massive electricity conductors, I'm like, that resonates with me. And when you look at the chambers and the precisional mathematical layout and the laser technology, machinery, it's like, yeah, that makes so much sense. Because when we look at how our devices are made today, they use the same technology, they use the same precision machinery, right? And so the pyramids and those ancient civilizations were just on a way bigger scale. Now, this is really intriguing to me, right? A lot of this stuff I've known, right? But when I saw this the other day, I was just like, whoa. And it clicked into place, because I've also always wondered, I'm like, what actually really happened? Like, not that it died and whatever. I'm like, what were they even actually doing with all those massive pyramids? Because we don't really see pyramids like that today. Like, we don't build structures like that. We build cities and buildings. So maybe they're just being transformed a little bit. I won't go into that. But so the pyramids, right? And coming back to the motherboard, and when they, layered that image over the top, and I was just like, whoa, like what clicked in was the giver, right? Of the injection and everything turning black and white. And back then in those ancient civilizations, everything was on a massive scale. Like, they're huge, right? It's massive, right? If you're thinking about, like those layouts, they're a motherboard for some sort of electricity conductor. Like, that is what they do, and they happen to line up with stars. Like, why, right? And what dropped in for me intuitively, and take this what you will sort of thing, is that they're specifically layered around the earth too, like on specific continents in certain places, right, to line up with the stars. You guys know that. But for me, it was like, oh, so way back then they came to our earth, Gaia, some people call it Tara. They came here, and it was what I see like Avatar. Yeah, everything was bigger. The trees were bigger, people were bigger. Like, when we look at Avatar, those beings are big, they're tall, and we lived for thousands of years, not 100 years. Right? So everything's gotten smaller, right? When we look at Avatar, they're big beings, all the trees, all the animals, they're all massive, and everything's now smaller in this day and age, right? When we go back to the pyramids days, right, those ancient civilization days, they're all massive and on that massive scale. And so the motherboard, like, and so if they did infiltrate our country, if they did infiltrate our planet, I see how we used to be is luminescent light, is how I can describe it. Like, everything was luminescent, like Avatar, like literally like Avatar, right? You know how they say they create movies to show us what's been happening? How interesting. So it's like Avatar, yeah? And they infiltrated, and those big pyramids were sending that luminescent light, that luminescent energy you know, like specifically around the planet, they were sending it to wherever they were taking it. Like they stole it from us, basically. I don't know if it's too windy for you guys, let me know. And they stole it from us, and so they were mining it basically and sending it through and from these massive pyramids that were directly in alignment with the stars, like, and shooting it up, like they were exporting it basically, right? And then and that was on a massive scale. And when you look at the movie The Giver, everything's black and white until they stop taking the injection. And when you kind of like, we look at our Earth today and we're like, oh, it's so beautiful. And please know I do feel that. But when I had this realization, I was like, wow, it's really dull. It's really dull compared to what it used to be. If everything was Avatar style and like that luminescent light that I just was just like, that's home. Like I feel it in my heart. And they have extracted that luminescent light and energy for however long, right? Long time now. Then if you can imagine someone sucking energy from somebody, i.e. they're sucking the energy from our planet and from us, it's going to look pretty dull. Like it's going to be dull and dry. And when we look around, even though it's beautiful and green and sometimes lush, it's not what it used to be. Right, there's a lot of deserts around, and you know, like, and I know there's a lot of rainforests and stuff, but you know, like, on a general whole, if you look at Avatar, it's very dry. It's very sucked dry. You know, when somebody's sucked dry and they look dry, right? Maybe like me a little bit today. So it's like this. It's like they've sucked that through the temples, through those big pyramids that they've made us be in awe of, and all this mystery surrounding them. Now, whatever happened, don't know about that in an intuitive bit yet, but what I was showing with the motherboard coming on top of the pyramids, I was like, wow, it was on a massive scale. And so they've depleted the earth that much that all that's left to deplete from is us. They've mined and they've done all these things, and all that's left to deplete from is us. And so those huge motherboards are not required anymore, so to speak, because what they are now sucking energy from is the devices in our own hands and all the technology. Please know I love technology. Like, this is not bagging out anything, because there's so much, you know, we use it for and blah, 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 blah. But that sucking energy from Gaia or Tara, whoever you want to call it, there's nothing left. And so now they're taking our luminosity from us. Does this make sense, guys? Let me know if this makes sense. They're sucking the luminosity from us, and it's interesting, right? Avatar's really big and everything was really big, and now it's all on a small scale. We're small. Everything's small compared to what it used to be. The devices are small, the motherboards are small, and they're getting smaller and smaller into a tiny little chip. How interesting. It's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. But the way to stop is choosing not. In a sense of like learning to say no and learning to use our voice to be able to hold our ground and say, no, that's not okay. I will not let you take my energy anymore. Remember when somebody wakes up to a narcissist sucking the energy dry from us, and we choose to really disconnect and disappear from that narcissistic sucking energy, that narcissist will find someone else until everyone stands up and says, no, I'm not letting you take my energy anymore. No, I'm not letting you take my luminescent light anymore. Huge realization. Does this make sense, guys? Let me know. Yeah, same with all animals. Exactly, right? Yeah, everything got smaller. Exactly, yes. So interesting, yeah? And so when we look at that getting smaller and smaller and smaller, it's very contracted energy. It's contracted, it's yin, it's dark. Talk about the dark and the light. The light is really expansive. Dark is very contracted and small. And we're choosing not to do that anymore. Yeah, we're choosing not to be contracted anymore. We're choosing expansion, and we're choosing the light, but it is a conscious choice, person by person by person. Yeah? So it's really interesting when we're like, whoa, and we're like, no, not anymore. So just wanted to share that realization, guys. If you think that this can help somebody, please share it along. Getting lots of little drips and drops of like big momentous put together of puzzles at the moment. So I'm looking forward to sharing more. So if you guys would like information about the second tier that I've opened up for the Life Purpose Accelerator, send me a private message. If you feel this can help somebody, please share it, and I shall speak to you guys really soon. Have a beautiful day, evening, or night. Sleeping, wherever you are in the world. I love you guys heaps. Mwah.